An impressive and decadent vegan chocolate tart that is sinfully easy to make. No baking required, a maximum 30 minutes prep time, and perfect for your next holiday gathering. Easter is coming up next weekend, so I wanted to give you a really simple dessert recipe that is sure to fulfill your chocolate cravings. And all you have to do is blend up a crust in your food processor, melt some chocolate chips into coconut milk, and that's it. So here we go. Add 1 cup oats, 1 cup almond flour, half a cup cocoa powder, half a teaspoon espresso powder if you have it, and half a teaspoon sea salt to your food processor. Pulse the mixture to break down the oats. Next, add in half a cup pitted deglet Noor dates that have been soaked in warm water for 5 minutes. I always have both deglet Noor dates and medjool dates in my fridge, and I tend to use these pitted deglet Noor dates in my baking because they tend to cost less. And I keep these big, juicy medjool dates for snacking. So when I bake, I just soak these smaller deglet Noor dates in water for a few minutes to soften them up before tossing them into my recipe. Also add in 1/3 cup applesauce, 1/3 cup almond butter, and half a teaspoon vanilla extract. Pulse the mixture again to fully break down the dates. Finish off the crust by tossing in half a cup toasted almonds and pulsing to coarsely chop them. Toasting almonds is a step worth taking. It makes them so much more flavorful. So before you get started with this recipe, just spread your raw almonds onto a baking sheet and toast them in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 7 to 10 minutes until they're nice and fragrant. Then take them out of the oven and let them cool while you get all those other ingredients into your food processor. Finally, splash in 2 tablespoons of the water the dates soaked in, and this will bring the dough together. Alternatively, use 2 tablespoons maple syrup for extra sweetness. The mixture should now be sticky enough that it will stick together when you press it between your fingers. And this crust is not super sweet because the chocolate filling adds so much sweetness. So if you're used to sweeter desserts, then go ahead and sub that 2 tablespoons of date water for a liquid sweetener like maple syrup. Press the crust mixture into a 9-inch tart pan with removable sides. Spread the dough up the sides of the pan to create a 1/2-inch crust and pat the dough down so it's even and compact. Pop that into your fridge while you make the filling. Gently warm up 1 cup full-fat canned coconut milk in a small pot over low heat. Add 1 cup dairy-free chocolate chips and stir until the chips are mostly melted. You can also use your microwave to do this, and with either option, just make sure you don't overheat the milk. You just need the milk warm enough to gently melt the chocolate chips. With most of the chocolate chips melted, remove the pot from the heat and add an additional 1/4 cup of cold chocolate chips and half a teaspoon vanilla extract. Stir until all the chocolate chips are melted. Remove the crust from the fridge and pour in the chocolate filling. Give the tart a tap on your counter to pop any air bubbles and put the tart back in the fridge for 30 minutes. And that's it. All that's left is to add a topping, and after 30 minutes, the chocolate filling is set enough that you can add a topping that won't sink through the chocolate, but it's still soft enough that any toppings you put on will stick. After 30 minutes, decorate the top of the tart and return it to the fridge for another 1.5 hours to fully set. How easy is that? This is so rich, it's creamy, and that toasted almond flavor is lovely, but I will let you in on a secret. This is so easy to customize. So with Easter coming up, if you have a favorite Easter chocolate, then use that to decorate the top, and even throw some into the crust. If you only have walnuts or pecans or hazelnuts, use those. If you only have peanut butter instead of almond butter, then make it a chocolate peanut butter tart. The alternatives are really endless, so if you need another option, I have given you a ton of ideas in my blog post for this recipe. So if you need a nut-free option, for instance, then head there. If you don't have a tart pan, you can make mini tarts in a silicone muffin tin. Try making individual portions in a ramekin, and you can make little tabs out of parchment paper to lift the finished tart out, or you can just eat them straight from the ramekin. That's a good portion. More for me. Oh, and did I mention that this tart is freezer friendly? So not only can you store this in the fridge until you need it for your gathering or to take it on the road, you can store it in the freezer for longer and then just take it out a few hours before you need it or the night before and, I don't know, walk into your party holding your tart. Make an entrance. This vegan chocolate almond tart serves 12 and costs us less than $10 to make. So if you're sold on this one, then hit that subscribe button. This recipe is linked below for you, and turn on those notifications because next Sunday we have a crunchy, clustery peanut butter granola for you. I don't know which one to eat. That's a good combo. Good night.